Pokemon and difficulty, two words that couldn't be any more different. Once you understand how a Pokemon game works, you shouldn't have a problem getting through each installment. However, there are always exceptions. And back in 2005, we got to play what is generally considered the hardest officially released Pokemon game there is. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. So what makes this game so difficult? Two reasons. Shadow Pokemon, a brand new type of Pokemon with immense power, and double battles, commonplace across the whole game, forcing each battle to be twice as complex. With all that in mind, how about we make the game just a little more difficult? We are going to do a Nuzlocke! Now for those unaware on what a Nuzlocke is, here are the rules. 1. I can only obtain the first Pokemon in each route/area. If I fail to catch a Pokemon, I cannot try again. But in XD, it's a little different. With few exceptions, you can only obtain the 83 Shadow Pokemon, 3 of the 9 Pokespot Pokemon, and Gift Pokemon. Are we allowed to catch any of them as long as it's my first encounter? 2. I must nickname every Pokemon. In order to get closer to my companions and form a bond, once purified, each team member will be given a name. 3. And most importantly, if a Pokemon faints, they're considered dead, and I cannot use them again. No revives and no second chances. I must put them in the box for the remainder of the run. Like that's ever gonna happen. More than once. Oh, and as a bonus challenge, 4. Except for Pokeballs, I cannot use items in battle. As we continue this journey, I'll go into more detail on how Shadow Pokemon work. But for now, let's begin! Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness Nuzlocke! Also, thank you for watching so far. I would like to shout out Sharkonor's XD Bios, Bulbapedia, Seribii, and this specific tier list template, as I used all of them as reference to help me make this video. Links in the description, and please, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch, and let me know how to improve. Part 1. A Shadow in the Sky. The story begins at sea! A cargo ship called the SS Libra later learned to be shipping Pokemon, among other things, to the Ori region, is hijacked by a group of sinister trainers and with what looks to be a Lugia, taking it who knows where. We then cut to an intense battle between Metagross and Salamence, controlled by the player canonically named Michael. I'll refer to him by the name I gave him, K. The battle was close, but due to a lucky poisoning from Metagross' Sludge Bomb, Salamence fainted, losing the battle and the run. Mission failed. Or is it? Turns out, this was a battle simulator using the technology found at the Pokemon HQ lab, where your mom Lily, your little sister Jovi, and yourself live to help Professor Crane in the creation of something grand. If you want, you can play all 13 lab battle sims, but they're just tutorials for those new to the series. Even if we did use them, I wouldn't count them toward the run, given they're just simulations. Turns out, your starter Pokemon is actually an Eevee, which was and still is an amazing idea for a starter, and not the last time this would be possible. After the sim ends, you go talk to Professor Crane and Lily as they ask you to find your sister. After some exploring, you find Adon playing hide and seek with Jody next to a Kecleon, apparently. He lets you know she might have gone off to Dr. Kamiko's manor. Following his advice, we get on our scooter and drive off to a very, very creepy house, and are ambushed by the one, the only, Chopin. Believing we are a burglar, we are challenged to our first battle, level 5 Sunken. Literally the weakest Pokemon in the game. Well, that was easy. XD Eevee is an excellent starter Pokemon, giving the option for 5 different evolutions very early on into the game. Because of that, it's difficult to rank by herself. The other Pokemon I'll talk about, I'll be looking at the whole evolutionary line, but here I'm going to wait a little bit before looking at the Eon quintuplets. But the fact that Eevee has 5 evolutions with their own playstyles is enough to put her in S-Rank! The battle with Chobin 1, Jovi reveals herself and we head inside Chobin now knowing we are related. While inside, we can listen to Chobin's showcase of Dr. Tomato's great inventions, such as the unhealthy sandals that give you chronic foot pain, the power-saving refrigerator that only turns on when you're right in front of it, and the Pokepole, which is just a pole that's painted to look like a Pokemon. Hilarious. Once you're done basking in the glory of those inventions, you can talk to Jovi, who will temporarily join your party. What super fun and useful abilities can Jovi do? Once you leave, you'll get a letter from your PDA, in this case standing for Pokemon Digital Assistant. This useful device will act as your Pokedex, trainer card, mailbox, and more. Once you head back to Pokemon HQ Lab and return Jovi back to our mom, we can talk to Professor Crane and he will tell us that his goal is to create the Purify Chamber and a snag machine, which he gives to us now. All just in case the evil team Cypher would return to Oi. Something I have yet to mention is this game is a sequel to Pokemon Coliseum, where the trainer canonically known as West saved Oi from Cypher and purified all 48 Shadow Pokemon 5 years ago. Why did Nintendo, Game Freak, and the Pokemon Company decide to release the sequel onto NSO first? Oh no! Professor Crane is being kidnapped by Cypher! What are the odds? Crane was right to worry. After 5 years, Cypher has returned, and we must battle our first grunt, Naps. Very quickly you'll learn that this region is full of weird names, big shoes, and shadow Pokemon. Whenever we encounter a new usable Pokemon, I'll give them each a bio and a ranking, just like my series of shorts ranking every Pokemon! But first, what is a shadow Pokemon? Well, in XD and Coliseum, they are Pokemon who had their hearts artificially shut out, causing them to become aggressive. In exchange, their power is greatly increased and they gain access to a whole new type of move, Shadow type. Only affecting the moves they use, Shadow Pokemon attacks will always be super effective against non-Shadow Pokemon and not very effective against Shadow Pokemon. When in battle against one, they only use Shadow type moves with unlimited power points or PP. There are a total of 18 Shadow-type moves. I'll explain them as they become relevant. A Shadow Pokemon's type will remain what it usually is, so Shadow Teddiursa will always be normal, and Shadow Mareep will always be electric. Last thing I'll say on the meta for now is in Gen 1 to 3, the type determines if a Pokemon's attack will deal physical or special damage. An easy way to remember this is with the evolutions. Fire, water, electric, psychic, dog, ice, grass, and dragon will always deal special damage, each type represented by a different evolution alongside dragon. While normal, fighting, flying, poison, ground, rock, bug, ghost, and steel will always deal physical damage. Meaning when an Eevee uses Bite, despite being a physical action, it deals special damage. All that said, Shadow-type attacks actually work like the modern games, with some being physical and some being special. Shadow Teddiursa. Shadow move, Shadow Blitz, and Shadow Mist. Unique move, Refresh. For your first Shadow Pokemon, it's a fantastic choice throughout the whole game. Each Shadow Pokemon comes with at least 2 Shadow-type moves, In this case, Shadow Blitz, a 40 base power, 100% accurate Shadow type move that's basically a Shadow type tackle. Acceptable early game, but falls off quickly. Shadow Mist is a 100% accurate status move that lowers the target's evasion, making them easier to hit. Once purified, the Shadow moves are removed and become new moves, one of which will always be unique to this game, unavailable anywhere else. Teddiursa gets Refresh, a normal type status move that cures the user of statuses like Burn and Poison. Get on Teddiursa, not so much Ursaring. Once evolved at level 30, Ursaring has a fantastic 130 attack stat, combined with the Guts ability, that increases attack by 50% when inflicted with a status condition, dealing great damage with return, slash, doublage, and more. Sadly, Teddiursa is a long way from evolving, and the Flame and Toxic Orb was not introduced yet. You will need a teammate to status you. Also, Pickup is a great ability, having a 4% chance to give you rare candies, and a 1% chance to get a King's Rock from level 21 to 30. A rank. Even if you don't plan on using her or any Pokemon I talk about, I still recommend catching them. This will be the last mandatory single battle, I think, so you're going to need at least 2 Pokemon. Thankfully, she's a mandatory capture. You're getting a Teddiursa and you're going to like it! Though, despite our best efforts, Professor Crane is kidnapped, and there's nothing we can do but continue on. The Purified Chamber is on the verge of completion. Crane might not be here, but together we can finish this. Wanting to help, Kay and Jovi go to Gideon Port to find a special part they need to finish the chamber. Jovi, the ever-reliable 6-year-old, bumps into Zeus, a thug not afraid to punch a child even for a minor inconvenience. But before I could challenge him to a battle, a mysterious wealthy man named Mr. Vince steps in and one of his bodyguards, Ardos, challenges him to a battle. In a fun twist, we actually see this battle happen with a special cutscene, as his Alakazam destroys the Shadow Zangoose. I wish we got these more often, but this battle does show that both of these trainers are far above our current level. Afterwards, we find the mechanic's son, Pia, to get the special part, and by talking to the sailor standing in for Pia, we can choose a special stone or shard we can use to evolve Eevee into XD Vaporeon. Is super bulky with a high 130 HP and the ability Water Absorb. She will be able to stay in battle for a long time. When hit by a water type move, they will be healed up to 25% of their max HP. Could be useful when trying to stall out a capture. Their 110 special attack is also fantastic, learning excellent water and ice moves like Hydro Pump and Ice Beam. Sadly, Surf and HMs in general are not available in this game. But with how good Water is defensively, along with everything else, she is one of the best choices for a starter. S-Rank! XD Jolteon is one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. Jolteon is excellent at catching Shadow Pokemon. With Thunder Wave teachable in Agate Village, Jolteon can paralyze most Shadow Pokemon to give you a 1.5 bonus to capturing them. But he is great at taking down Pokemon as well. With 110 special attack, he is going to bring down the house with a Thunderbolt. If you get a Rain Dance user, it would make Thunder perfectly accurate. The TMs you would want for him are also fairly easy to get, and Volt Absorb works just as well as Water Absorb, but when he's hit by electric attacks. As for negatives, the only special type they can use is electric. The rest of his damaging moveset is going off his 65 attack. Also being weak to ground is very dangerous in this game. Anyway, XD Flareon. Oh, Flareon, is there any game you're useful in? I guess Conquest, kinda. She has the opposite problem as Jolteon. Her best moves are on special attack, while her best stat is physical, 138 attack is nothing to take lightly. Just look at Ursaring. But without TMs or tutors, her strongest physical move is Bite. With them, she will be using Double Edge and Shadow Ball, moves better utilized on other Pokemon. Flash Fire can boost the power of Fire-type moves, but not significantly enough to be worth it. If you want to use a Fire-type, we will be getting not one, but two much better options in the not-too-distant future. E-Rank XD Espeon! Both Espeon and Umbreon were your starters back in Pokemon Coliseum, so if you played that game first, you might want to skip these two. But if not, Espeon is a fantastic sweeper, and is on par with Vaporeon in my eyes. While slower than Jolteon, her 130 special attack is complemented greatly with her access to Psychic in the mid to late game. Because of that, it can be hard to use early on, but Confusion is still super useful, and Synchronize can help balance out the battlefield. When hit with Poison, Paralyze, or Burn, they will pass it on to the Pokemon that inflicted it. Same with Jolteon, with how limited Gen 3 movesets are, only good special attack is Psychic, but that's really all they need. S-Rank! This picture of a wall... Wait, I've done this joke already. XD Umbreon! Umbreon is your wall, the ultimate support Pokemon. With Eevee knowing Bite in her base moveset, Umbreon is unique in getting a stab option a few levels early. Along with that, her defenses are outstanding. Both physical and special defenses being this high means she will be able to tank a hit and set up easily. She can fit a wide variety of support roles, using Confuse Ray, Toxic, Taunt, even Sunny Day and Rain Dance if you're dedicated enough. You need to be dedicated, though. Umbreon cannot defeat Pokemon on her own, and might struggle early game. Also, the ability Synchronize and immunity to Psychic is also very useful. Anyway, for this one, I'm going with Vaporeon. Yeah, get your obscure fact out of the way. I'll be sure to read all the comments. But while in town, make sure to explore and talk to everyone, with plenty of items and shadow Pokemon to find. But Pokeballs are a limited resource for just a bit longer. Thankfully, the two shadow Pokemon here have the highest possible catch rate of 255. Shadow Ladybug, Shadow Blitz, Shadow Shed, and a unique move of Refresh. A Pokemon that begs to be supportive, but is unable to get the job done. Positives: Shadow Shed is a new Shadow move that removes the effects of Safeguard, Reflect, and Light Screen. All moves not a single Pokemon will have by the time we can purify it. And once purified, it becomes Refresh, which is worse. Positives. It's immune to ground. Yeah, that's all I got. For a fully evolved Pokemon, it has some of the worst stats I have ever seen, with special defense being the only notable outlier. Her moveset is full of status moves that will almost always activate in the middle of a turn because of the low speed, and without TMs, all your attacking moves will need to come from a 35 attack stat. There is a single battle where Ladybug is kinda useful, against Green 6, the guy with 5 grass types and a pine cone, because she knows the move Aerial Ace. But even then, you can get a fire and poison type right next to him, and our next Pokemon knows Poison Fang. Keep her until you get your 7th Pokemon, then Boxer and Psy. E-Rank. Shadow Poochyena, Shadow Blitz, Shadow Hold, and the unique move of Heal Bell. A classic early game encounter, which means she's gonna fall off in the late game, right? Well, true, but she has a trick up her fangs. As a Shadow Pokemon, she has the new Shadow Hold, which acts similar to Mean Look, preventing both of the opponent's Pokemon to escape. Dangerous to fight against, but not that useful when using yourself. But once purified, you're given Heal Bell, a much stronger version of Refresh that heals the status effects across the user's party. Once evolved into Mightyena, she gains Intimidate. This ability will automatically lower the physical attack of both opponents once sent into battle. While the other Intimidate Pokemon in this game have better typings and movesets, Mightyena's reliability and early game placement means by the time you finish the first dungeon, every opponent should fear you. At least until they see your base stats. D.U.N. Returning to HQ, Lily mentioned Agate Village, the only place in the world where you can naturally purify shadow Pokemon. So we head there next. On the west side of the village, there is a move tutor that oddly only teaches moves once, so think hard. Once you meet Egan, the village elder, he will show Kay the Relic Stone, a stone with the power to purify shadow Pokemon. But first you must battle some trainers. When using your shadow Pokemon, you probably notice a few things. Instead of an EXP bar, they have a heart gauge. This bar has 5 levels that will decrease every time the Pokemon is sent into battle, is given special sense every 256 steps when in a player's party or the daycare in Agate Village, or is called out of reverse mode. Reverse mode is a special state Pokemon enter after a shadow move is used by anyone on the field. That becomes more common the closer the Pokemon is to purification. While in this form, at the end of your turn, you take 1/16 of the user's maximum HP rounded down. Items cannot be used except for scents. In order to buy scents, you will need a cologne case, only obtained by talking to this NPC east of the Pokemon Center after defeating Dakim, who we will learn about later. Hey, Editing Warlord here. I confused obtaining the cologne case in Colosseum vs. XD. In this game, you just need to defeat Fun Old Man Corn, who is a mandatory encounter. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe, and hype if you're on mobile. It can be obtained in Agate Village. Just make sure to never buy Vivid Scents. They are overpriced, and it's more cost effective to buy Excite Scents. Unlike Colosseum's Hyper Mode, there is no benefit to having Reverse Mode active. Using the call command or scent will end the effect. Using the call command will also wake up a Pokemon from sleep and raise the accuracy of a Pokemon by 1 stage if they're not already in reverse mode or sleep. As the heart gauge drains, your Pokemon will gain access to the rest of their moveset, and nature will be revealed to the player. Once 3 bars remain, they will also start to gain experience and friendship, which will be given to them all at once after being purified. So the level you catch your shadow Pokemon will not increase until then. Upon purification, you will also remove the shadow type moves, unable to learn them again. Each trainer around town and in the cave, you can battle Egan, where... And yep, that would have killed him. Oh my goodness. I'll swap in the Ladybug, because out of the two, I'd rather lose Ladybug than Poochyena. Poochyena, when evolved, can gain the ability Intimidate, which is incredibly useful, especially in this game. Oh, Ladybug! Oh! Oh, Ladybug, you did it! You barely survived that! Oh, that was awesome! You can finally purify your first Pokemon. The game takes you back to Egan's house after that, but you can go back to the Relic Stone anytime when a Pokemon is ready. Though there is a much more efficient way of purifying coming up later. Now with Wave, Megan, Roxy, and Honey all healed up, Egan tells us to head to the infamous Mount Battle to talk to Vanda. Once arrived, Mr. Virtue's red-haired bodyguard will let you know that many trainers train their Pokemon here. While we fight a few trainers heading up to Vanda, let me explain how this place works. Mount Battle is a 100 trainer gauntlet with 10 areas, each with 10 trainers to fight. The Pokemon here go from level 9 to 13 in Area 1, maxing out at level 70 in Area 10, with some trainers having legendaries. I don't think we will be able to do this by the end without breaking the catching rule. If you are going to train here, use the guide on Bulbapedia to make sure you can handle the levels of the next area. You can take a break every 10 floors where you're rewarded with Poke Coupons that can be used to obtain powerful and exclusive items and use the move reminder. Though there's a much easier and in our case safer way to obtain these later on. Oh, right. If you do manage to somehow beat all 100 trainers in a row without stopping, you obtain XD Johto starters, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile. They all have their type's ultimate move, along with an egg move they wouldn't normally learn, but are only obtainable in Mount Battle at level 5. Literally the absolute last challenge you should do with a team of Pokemon close, if not at, level 100. A great reward, especially since this is one of the few ways to get a Johto starter in Gen 3, but completely unusable in a playthrough, pre- and post-game. Oh, and to be clear, you need to defeat 100 trainers in Mount Battle without stopping to obtain one of the 3. So you need to beat a total of 300 trainers, only taking a break every 100. Man, and I thought the ZA Shiny Charm was hard to get. E-Rank. By now, Pokeballs can be bought back at Agate, so make sure to stock up, because we got a long road ahead of us. Rando told us about an abandoned Cypher base in the desert. We go there and meet the Power Rangers? Here we have 6 color-coded Cypher Grunts, each specializing in a certain type: fire, water, brown, electric, poison, and grass. You can battle all 6 of them in any order, each holding a shadow Pokemon. Just make sure not to fight the green one first like I did. He has 6 Pokemon in total. From left to right, we have Shadow Houndour, Shadow Blitz, Shadow Shed, unique move Charm. Told you there was going to be a better fire type than Flareon early on. Having a chance to have Flash Fire just like Flareon, the added Dark typing with Fire gives him an immunity to Psychic and a great number of resistances. Her stats also actively work well with this Pokemon's type. Once evolved, she has 110 special attack. Moves like Flamethrower, Fire Blast, and Crunch are excellent options. Sadly, outside of TMs, those moves will take a long time to learn. I would recommend buying the Flamethrower TM as soon as possible. The unique attack they get is Charm, a status move that lowers attack by 2 stages. Great for balancing out Houndoom's greatest weaknesses. A physical defense of 50 along with weaknesses to Walk, Ground, and Fighting is something you need to look out for. Anyway, sadly, while obtaining Houndour for our team, you gotta capture all the Shadow Pokemon you need. Not the Pokemon you want. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, that did a lot of damage. Oh, that did a lot of damage. I know it's a shadow move. Wait! No! No, Roxy! No! No! First step! Oh, man. Shadow Sphere. Shadow Wave, Shadow Mist, unique move, Charm. On brighter news, Sphere is an excellent bulky water type, able to tank and deal solid damage. Her new shadow move is Shadow Wave. the weakest special shadow move with 50 base power, but does hit both opponents on the field. Once purified of her evils, it becomes a War Beam. Learned 8 levels earlier than normal, offensively, Ice type is fantastic. Able to deal super effective damage against flying, ground, grass, and dragon type Pokemon. And a War Beam can lower their attack just like Charm. Her ability Thick Fat gives her resistance to fire and basically an immunity to ice. Make sure to use the move reminder in Mount Battle to teach them Ice Ball, an Ice-type version of Rollout that doubles in power each turn, going from 30 to 60 and you get it. Anyway. Shadow Ball Toy, Shadow Blast, and Shadow Mist. Unique move Refresh. Kinda has the opposite problem as Ladybug. Its stats are perfect for a wall and support, but their move pool is full of offensive moves. Defensively, 120 special defense and 105 physical defense is great, but the offensive stats are low, with the TM status moves you want being difficult to obtain. His Levitate ability also makes him a great partner to your Earthquake user, taking 0 damage from ground type moves. If you can obtain the TMs, he can be used to summon 3 types of weather and both Light Screen and Reflect. The strongest move he has access to is Self-Destruct and Explosion! Dealing 200 to 250 base power in Gen 3, along with having the defense stats, effectively doubling the power of both moves. This property was removed in Gen 5 and could be a good last minute play during the Nuzlocke. Seaway. Shadow Mareep, Shadow Blitz, Shadow Shed, and unique move Heal Bell. The best part of purifying this Pokemon over each other so far is that they will evolve into Fluffy immediately. She also has access to Thunder Wave and Static, 2 ways to paralyze your enemies, making them easier to defeat and capture. When compared to Jolteon, it's much slower, so it's not a better Thunder Waver, but she does pack a higher punch, both physically and specially. Using mostly electric-type moves like Thunderbolt, she can also learn Brick Break and Iron Tail via TMs. Sadly, her natural moveset is super small, with Thunder Punch, Thunder, and Cotton Spore being the standouts. She has a lot of ways to make her opponent slow, but can't outpace them with base 55 speed. Shadow Gulpin! Shadow Blitz, Shadow Hold, and unique move Sing. Balanced attack, balanced defense, all mediocre. On the bright side, stats like these mean any move you teach will be offensively useful. But I much prefer using Gulpin's access to status moves, specifically Encore, Amnesia, Toxic, and his unique move of Sing. So I recommend going to the move relearner to teach Yawn instead, having much better accuracy but taking 2 turns to apply Sleep. A move I wish was better is Stockpile. In Gen 3, it does not give a boost to defenses, completely useless without Spit Up and Swallow. Overall, as a way to spread poison and sleep, he isn't the worst option, and the abilities are nothing to write home about. D-Rank. Shadow Seedot, Shadow Wave, Shadow Hold, and the unique move of Refresh. Similar to Mareep, Seedot will evolve as soon as she is purified, and by the end of the area, right before the admin, you will find a Leaf Stone, fully evolving in the Shift Tree. I recommend getting Nuzleaf to level 19 first, so he can learn Fake Out, a move with increased priority if used on their first turn of battle. Sadly, outside of evolutions, most stone evolutions don't learn any new moves once evolved, with the moves Nuzleaf learn taking too long or being useless, or just bad with Razor Wind. But 480 base stats? The second highest stats we can get for quite a while? With the ability to learn some excellent TMs, like Solar Beam, Brick Break, and Shadow Ball, is great to have. But that's not all. The ability Chlorophyll will double her speed in this run. Combined with Solar Beam gives her the ability to deal massive damage fast. Just be careful when dealing with opposing fire types and his number of other weaknesses. Excellent! Remember to heal your Pokemon between each battle. There's a healer right behind the right door, but I forgot, so I went to Mount Battle instead. Once all 6 are defeated, you can head inside Cypher's lab. Be careful while traveling around. Cypher peons actively fall from the sky, and you cannot escape battle once you start. Throughout my stream, I made sure to stop by the healer NPC after each battle just to be safe. After a few peons, you see a cutscene where we are introduced to the creator of XD001, Shadow Lugia, Lovrina, our first admin. The rest of the dungeon is simply a maze of corridors, several peons, and R&D employees, especially this room to the left of the elevators, needing to battle 2 trainers with 7 Pokemon in total. And one of their Pokemon was a Wynaut. Both Wynaut and Wobbuffet have incredibly high HP, knowing moves like Counter and Mirror Coat, meaning if they survive a hit, they will hit you back with twice the damage. And sadly, our starter, Wave, was lost. Take them out ASAP, as fast as you can, strongest attacks, it doesn't matter. Quit. And I gotta swap out Wave. And money too as well. Okay, wasn't quite enough. Oh no. Wait. No! Wave! No! On a brighter note, we did manage to purify Sherd the Baltoy, and Zenai the Houndour, Locke the Nuzleaf, Chobin the Gulpin, and Jazz the Mareep. But due to my own incompetence, we lost. Yeah, I didn't grow up with Gen 3 if my icon couldn't didn't give that away. Where I started with Pokemon Platinum, but specifically like Coliseum and XD. But Coliseum does have nostalgic memories for me specifically, and this game to a lesser extent, since they used the same. I am an idiot. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Yeah, looking back, this was very dumb of me to send out a Numel who has a 4 times weakness to water. But I also got unlucky with Astonished Lynching Seedot. A 30% chance, by the way. Wave was the death after, but we got Seal. I bet you'll be glad to pick up that torch. Yeah. Before Gen 9, I found myself that if there was ever a Dunsparce evolution or some form of buffingness. Oh no! Oh no, Seal! Seal, please. Please don't. Please don't, Seal. Please. Please, you're too cute for this world. No! You're too cute for this world! Oh, you gotta be kidding me! I deserve every water type I love die! After defeating Cypher R&D codes, he will drop an ID card which is used to circle back to the entrance and take another elevator to the left where you fight Cypher R&D Tickot and his one-shotting Clamperl. You'll finally find Professor Crane and Naps. Before you go down there, make sure to heal and pack your best Pokemon. You might want to use some of the shadows introduced before we saved Crane. Let's go over them. Shadows spin a while. Okay, I'll finally explain why their numbers look so weird. This is known as a shadow boost. only when fighting against a Shadow Pokemon, they will be treated as if they're a few levels higher than the number you see next to the plus. That original number being the level you obtained the Pokemon. That level boost can be anywhere between 0 to 3. Yes, despite having a plus, they could just be the same level number you see. But I can't find any information on specific level boost when battling, so when referring to levels, I'll just look at the main number. Shadow Spinarak, Shadow Blitz, Shadow Mist, and unique move, Refresh. A better bug type than Lydian, but not by much. While the stats are more balanced, none of them are notably good. As a way to balance this, he can use Dig, Sludge Bomb, Solar Beam, Giga Drain, even Psychic. Sadly, Leech Life has not been buffed yet. It's currently 20 base power. I honestly got nothing more to say. Use them at your own risk. Shadow Numel, Shadow Blitz, Shadow Shed, unique move, Charm. Even if you don't want this Pokemon, catch him anyway. He is holding the charcoal item. When held, all fire-type attacks will be increased by 10%. His ability Oblivious and fire typing will be useful in an upcoming fight. Overall, Ground Fire is an excellent stab combo to have in this game. He naturally learns super strong attacks like Magnitude, Earthquake, Eruption, and even Rock Slide. Each fantastic for double battles, with solid stats to back it up, both specially and physically. However, the low speed and defenses means he's surprisingly frail, especially when dealing with water types. Even the weakest looking water move can one-shot Numel. I know from experience. But play him right and you have a monster on your hands. B-Rank. Shadow Carvanha! Shadow Blitz, Shadow Hold, and the unique move Refresh. Definitely snag this Pokemon. He holds the black glasses, which increases the power of Dark-type moves by 10%. But I would definitely consider using this Water Dark Glass Cannon. With 120 attack, a solid 95 special attack, and speed means... I forgot! Dark is special in this gen! That means his only physical option is normal type attacks. Every other offensive move is special, or not in the game. If you want to use his 120 attack stat, your best option is Return, Facade, Takedown, or Hidden Power if you're lucky. It's basically Ursaring, but with lower attack, defenses, and a worse ability, especially with those defenses. Carvanha, I'm so sorry. D-Wing. Shadow Shroomish, Shadow Blitz, Shadow Mist, and unique move Refresh. Now, a cool thing about this guy is he's one of only 2 Pokemon that can learn Spore, the only 100% accurate sleep move, at level 54! Okay, that's not worth it. Completely not worth it. Do you know what's the strongest Shadow Pokemon is? 55! So yeah, make sure to evolve him at level 23. What you lose in Spore, you gain in an excellent physical attacker. Obtaining the Fighting type and Mach Punch, you will blitz through battles. Combined with supportive moves like Stun Spore and Leech Life, not to mention powerful TMs like Sludge Bomb and Brick Break. He also starts with False Swipe, which can be useful for catching Pokemon. But most of his stats are below average, with the Grass Fighting type not being the best defensively. But if you're looking for a Fighting type that can do more than most, you can't go wrong. Anyway, once you defeat Naps, right after you will fight Lovrina, with 8 Pokemon between them, one of which being a Shadow Pokemon. Even with those preparations, however. Still same problem as last time. It needs Fake Out because that's priority. And Thundershock on Sackhoff. It failed! It wasn't the first. I am an idiot. I forgot it doesn't work in the first turn. And what do you mean it missed? What do you mean the attack missed and no chance is so low? And Pursuit, you're using Pursuit! No! Jasmine! Gah! How did I forget how Fake Out worked, and why did Thundershock miss? Again, my own stupidity lost us a friend. And it's not even the end. Thankfully, after defeating Naps, you can grab the Leaf Stone. Once Nuzleaf knows Fake Out, I would evolve him. The perfect strong lead to have a Lovrina. Battle Lovrina! Our first admin and real boss fight. She has 4 Pokemon, starting with Loftus, level 20. Water type, Swift Swim for her ability. With the moves, Water Gun, Tackle, Charm, and Attract. Along with Beautifly, level 19. Bug Flying type, Swarm for her ability. With the moves, Thief, Gust, Absorb, and Attract. If she was a gym leader, Attract would be her TM. These 2 Pokemon has it, each with different genders, so no matter what you send out, it will have a chance to be infatuated. Thankfully, Loftus is very weak, and Beautifly can be tricky. Roselia, level 19, Grass Poison type. Natural Cure for her ability, with the moves, Leech Seed, Mega Drain, Pin Missile, and Poison Stick. Can be a problem. 5 out of the 13 available Pokemon are weak to his Pin Missile. Her final Pokemon is a Shadow Delcatty, with both Shadow Rush and Wave. She has the lowest catch rate of any Pokemon so far. I'd recommend bringing 1 or 2 Shadow Pokemon so they can tank each hit Delcatty dishes out. Or else this could happen. 1, 2, 3. No! What a tease. Shadow Rush. No! Tobin! I was... The battle is won. You and Professor Crane will head back to the Pokemon Lab HQ. And it is revealed that the Purify Chamber is complete. Now we can effectively purify each Shadow Pokemon except for 1. And that's the end of part 1. Before going over Shadow Delcatty, I want to say thank you for watching. This is the first time I've made a video of this magnitude. I spent a long time working on this, really enjoying the process. Please let me know if there's anything I could do to make the video better in the comments below. Shadow Delcatty! Shadow Rust, Shadow Wave, unique move, Sweet Kiss. Disappointingly, Delcatty is a stone evolution. She won't be learning any new moves. Her starting moveset is decent, Shockwave never misses, and the unique move of Sweet Kiss can be useful when it hits. Being a normal type gives her an ocean of TMs and tutors to use. Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, Ice Beam, Protect, Toxic, Substitute, and Thunder Wave. Her main problem is the same as other Pokemon we've talked about today. Her lower than heck base stats of 380 for a fully evolved Pokemon. While I believe that not all Pokemon need to be usable or outright good, in a game like XD with limited options, you need to take what you can get. And Delcatty can be molded into whatever niche you want. For that, I'll give her C rank. Now that the video is done, I'll be continuing the Nuzlocke on twitch.tv/gamingwarlord64. I play games of all sorts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 PM PST. I'll see you guys next game. Bye bye.